Hey y'all, it's your girl Mariah Sincere, and I am back with another bomb live. For those of y'all who don't know me, I'm a self love coach who specializes in helping people to radically transform their lives. I've been able to do it myself. At the beginning of the year, the beginning of last year, I decided that I wanted to make a change. I had been through everything: toxic relationships, dead end jobs, traumatic childhood, and I decided that I wanted to move to another country. And within 6 months, I did. So I'm coming at y'all live from the beautiful city of Medellin, Colombia. If you need any help getting your life together, whether it's life coaching or advice with moving abroad or traveling, hit me up at thepassportsis@gmail.com. That my email is in the description box. Within about 2 weeks, I will have my email up and running, and not my email, my website up and running, and you can book your consultations there. Okay, guys, so we got a lot to talk about today. So I was doing a live last week, and I was supposed to be talking about Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm going to talk about him again today, and as well as the situation with Ra Ali and Rico Hundo from tonight's conversation. I'm going to touch on Keto Rose too. Um, with that said, guys, I have been having issues with my internet. It's like around this time every day it goes out, but fret not, because I have a Colombian internet service now on my cell phone. So I have a Colombian phone number, and I will just, if anything happens, worst case scenario, I am going to just get on my hotspot on my phone and continue on with the live. I thought about just taking away the lunch hour and trying to go live later on, but I feel like it's too late and I don't want to chance it. Like it's kind of like once you let the day get away, it's always something else that you're going to need to do later on in the day. Always stuff piling on. So let me turn on my hotspot. It's not connected to my internet, but just in case. So it's the lunch hour. So I do have some lunch. It ain't nothing too like tasty looking, to be honest. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. So I got some, what is this? Some hummus. And this is hummus I bought from a Colombian grocery store. So I doubt it's good hummus, y'all. I got some hummus, and I also have some tuna for protein. So yeah, I told you I'm not gonna come on here every single day eating real decadently, because it's close to summer. Even though it's spring all the time here in Medellin, it's close to summer, and I'm trying to get my body snatched. So no, I ain't gonna be on here eating like big meals with lots of carbs every day. I ain't doing that. So I'm promoting health on this channel. Anyways, let me get to it. If you watch the replay, please hit the like button. Now, Dr. Umar Johnson was recently on some type of dating show, and there was an interracial couple. So I'm going to show y'all what he said. He was very, very racist, and I was very disappointed in the comment section. I was disappointed in the comment section, but I'll admit I was not surprised by what was said, because people are just, I don't know how to, people are just ignorant. I don't know what else to say. People are just ignorant. So this was a show with Drewski. For those of y'all who don't know who Drewski is, I think he's a comedian. He was the big fat light-skinned dude that dated Ruby Rose, and I'm still not sure whether or not that was for publicity. She said he paid her, but he said he didn't pay anything. So I mean, I feel like he paid her, because why else, right? But anyways, he went on a dating show, and this could all be scripted. Okay, let's say it could all be scripted, but he was on there being extremely problematic. So I'm going to share what was said. Give me 1 second. Here we go.
question, your cultural background, what's your ethnicity?
I'm Lebanese, I'm Middle Eastern.
As a young Lebanese young lady, why would you be interested in dating a black man?
That's kind of racist.
Maybe to you.
God, I don't know.
Now, people were in the comments saying that's not a racist question, but it actually is. It's very racist and insulting. It's insulting to the girl and it's insulting to the black man. It's insulting to Drewski because it's implying that there has to be some type of like ulterior motive as to why she wants to date this man. Like it's just out of the norm that a woman would want to date a man, right? And it's also implying that she's dating him specifically because he's black, right? As if he has nothing else to offer in terms of character, personality, or just being like attractive across the board, you know?
Who the he think he is? I don't even know who the that is. But I'm not with him. That man is racist as
Being Dr. Umar, it's a no-go on an interracial relationship.
What separates you?
Y'all gotta look at it this way. Imagine this was a white man or a white woman, and you had a black woman dating the white man. Let's say this is a white woman and it's a black woman trying to date her white son, right? And the white woman asked the black woman, what would make you interested in dating a white man? Y'all, we will lose our minds if somebody did that.
I am the table. There ain't nothing more to talk about right now.
Show him. You can stand up and show him.
I told you.
Now, I didn't watch this whole show, but like if he seriously sat in front of her and asked her what she brings to the table or what she has to offer, that is so embarrassing. We have to understand these what do you bring to the table conversations in terms of like finances and things. These type of conversations are not being had in other communities. So it is embarrassing. Dr. Umar is embarrassing. I'm sorry, he is. Like, and the nerve of him after his daughter blasted him the way that she did.
I wasn't a snow bunny, so why the is you calling me a snow bunny? You don't even know what the you're talking about, and the internet eats you up. The is really wrong with all y'all that watch him.
Woman thinks she might have had a little.
Okay, so again, he was continued to call her a snow bunny. Again, y'all gotta put the shoe on the other foot. What if this was a black woman and a white man was interviewing her and he continued to call her something like chocolate drop? I don't know, some weird pet name that was in reference to her skin color. We would be appalled.
The work done. That's her business, not mine.
First question, your cultural background, what's your ethnicity?
I'm Lebanese, I'm Middle Eastern.
As a young Lebanese young lady, why would you be interested in?
He lame as in my books.
I didn't say anything that was offensive. Asking a non-black.
It was very offensive. And again, you got to think of it in terms of what if it was the other way around? This is what I need my people to understand. Just because we have been through certain things like slavery and Jim Crow throughout history, that doesn't give us a pass in 2024 to be ignorant, prejudiced, and racist. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And I was just talking about this. So recently I had to end what was becoming a friendship. Because from the very beginning, when I first met this girl, she was very, very racist. And like, don't get me wrong, there's a difference between making jokes. You know, we all have our little racial jokes. Like, for example, people joking that, you know, and it ain't even a joke because there'll be some truth to some of it. People saying that white folks don't season their food. There is some truth to it, especially if you go to Great Britain. They don't season their food over there. Right? But there's a difference between that and having a visceral hate for another group of people. We all have our prejudice and we all have some stereotypes, and some stereotypes have truth to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you feel a way towards a group of people or you feel like we shouldn't interact with them or we shouldn't be with them. But I had to end a budding friendship with a girl because from the very beginning when I met her, she was like, I didn't come here to be around white people. And then it was just from then on, there was always something like, for example, she got viscerally angry when I said that Black Americans have more in common with white Americans than we do with Colombians, which is true. Like, we all grew up in the same country. Like, what's the problem? So she would just say a lot of racist things. Then she made a comment about biracials one time, and I had to tell her, when I finally did end the friendship, it's like, you say things and you don't. If I said the same things that you said to me, say to me, you would be upset. And you think that you can just have a complete disrespect and disregard for other people just because you're Black. And I don't like that. It's uncomfortable, especially like as immigrants, because the immigrant community is so small. We're oftentimes invited into spaces where we are around white people or other people of different races than us. So it's like you're bringing that energy, you're bringing that negativity. Not just that, if you're trying to be friends with somebody who is biracial, like I have a white parent, do you hate one part of me, or you feel like one part of me is responsible for all of your troubles in the world? And she didn't realize, she would tell me these stories about what she's been through. And I've experienced racism from a plethora of groups, right? I've also experienced more good than bad from each race. For example, I've experienced racism from white people, right? Not a lot of it, but enough. Like, I've been called the N-word. A girl spit in my face and called me the N-word when I used to work at a mental health facility. Okay, keyword mental health facility. Something was wrong with the chick. That is not how the majority of white people treat me, right? I've had white police officers on one occasion talk real bad to me. But then on the flip side of that, I've had white police officers let me go. I had white police officers let me go with no ticket in a situation where I should have gotten a felony charge. And the white officer felt so bad for me because I was in college that he let me go, even though his homie was pressuring him to take me to jail. He was like, nah, just because I got into a wreck. This is my first wreck. I left the scene, but then I called to turn myself. I panicked. And the white police officer was like, man, just pay them people their money for the damage you did. And I did. I paid them all $1,700 back. Okay. So I had white people show me love in that regard. I've had Black people show me love and do so much for me. Like, I've experienced more good than bad from Black people. But I've also experienced, now I gotta literally fight to the death. Not to the death, but I really gotta throw bows like I'm in physical danger because I ran across somebody who was in their feelings that day, and now you want to fight me just because I'm light skinned. I ain't even do nothing to you. You want to call me all kind of light skinned itches and stuff like that. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what nobody says. People can be on that. Black people can't be racist. Black people can be racist just like white people can be racist. I will say the vast majority of people are good people. So no, I don't want to hang around people that are racist. So she was like, well, I've been through this and that. Ma'am, you're at a certain age, you got to let all that go. And I don't got time to deal with all that. I don't got time to deal with all that. At a certain age, you have to be willing to say, hey, there's good and bad in everything. And I'm not going to walk around here hating a whole group of people because of my personal experiences. And then a lot of the times you're discounting the positive experiences. It's all perspective. Hey, Giovanna. Hey, girl. Being here in Arizona, there's not a lot of Blacks here. And my family back home always assume it's a lot of racism here. And it's really not. Girl, people be acting like, first of all, thank you for joining the live. Thank you so much. People be acting like this is like 1835, girl. And it's really not. I have so many great experiences with white people. You know why they probably think it's racist? Because Arizona is a swing state and there's a lot of Republicans there. And then people assume, that's another thing, people assume Republican means racist, and it really does not. As a matter of fact, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'll shout this to the rooftop. People who are Republicans tend to be more willing to hear other viewpoints and perspectives and have a civil dialogue than Democrats. I promise you. I promise you. Like, even when now I'm an independent, but even when I was like a real deal diehard leftist Democrats, I was like more likely to sit down with a Republican and we disagree on certain issues and it be civil than like me disagreeing with one thing. Like, I remember one time I was Uber driving and there was this older Black woman in the car. And at that time, Bernie Sanders was running for the presidency, and she got upset with me because I said I supported Bernie Sanders and she was a Joe Biden supporter. And this woman was yelling and going off and screaming, and she had to have been in her 50s. It was so childish. The whole time I kept my composure because she wasn't bothering me. Like, I don't care, ma'am. I said what I said. But it's like, if you disagree with them on one thing, now all of a sudden you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're stupid, you're uneducated, you're every name in the book. And when you talk to Republicans, they're more mature. I'm sorry, they just are. Yep, they sure are. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. If you spend time around a group enough, any group of people enough, you will see that you will have the majority of your experiences just being around them is going to be positive. You're going to have some people that say negative things. You're going to have some people who there's not even any malintent. They just might say or do things because they're not around other groups of people enough. And Black people do the same thing too. For example, I've seen plenty of Black people who, we're used to, in the United States, we're used to eating the fish with the head cut off, unless you was raised real country. But majority of Black people, I've seen Black people go visit the Caribbean and y'all see that they cooking the fish with the head on it, and you looking like, ew. To a Caribbean person, that's offensive. You don't mean any harm by it. It's just you ain't never seen it. So it's not a reason to hate people. We all have learning curves when we're dealing with different cultures. And my problem with Dr. Umar, this whole people shouldn't be dating out of their race thing. Again, it's 2025. People gotta go where the values align, right? You gotta date people based on character and if your values align. I said this before. I see a lot of, first of all, Black men are dating out, which we shouldn't be upset with them about that. Nobody owns anybody. Black men don't belong to Black women, and Black women don't belong to Black men. We all have we belong to God or the Creator or whoever you came from. We don't have ownership over anybody. And I've said this before, the cure to Black women being less offended by Black men choosing to date other races of women, it is us choosing to open our own options. When we open our options, you don't care what Black men are doing because you're doing the same thing. So you don't care. You'll see a Black man with a white woman and it don't faze you. Matter of fact, you start thinking about how that man ain't even really just your type like that. So let him go be free and date who he want to date. So I have a real issue with him coming at this couple, like coming at this woman like that. At the end of the day, you don't got to be disrespectful just because you don't agree with what somebody else is doing. And at the end of the day, everybody has to decide who they're going to date for themselves.
Black woman, why you want to marry a Black man when Black women don't have enough Black men to marry them?
Okay, again, y'all, this is a Lebanese woman. It's not her concern nor her business whether or not there are enough black men to go around for Black women. And that's a harsh reality, y'all. Nobody cares. Y'all got to stop. Not y'all, but like people who think like this have to stop being self-centered and think that everybody has to make their life decisions and moves based off of what they're going through. No, most of the time when people are going about living life, they're not thinking about what you're going through. I'm sorry. It's not that woman's responsibility to be caring about whether or not there is an equal black male to black woman ratio. It's not her responsibility. And that doesn't give him an excuse to come at her like that. If anybody should be thinking about that, it's Drewski, but he's not. He doesn't care. So, and we can't make him care.
That should have not been offensive.
Like, ain't nobody looking at you. You see, that's racist. You're racist. I don't care to even talk to you no more. I'm so sorry. I can't talk to him. He lame as in my book.
So people were in the comments kind of going off about it. Somebody said sis couldn't take the heat, so she left. No, it was rude. It's not about not being able to take the heat or not being able to answer the question. The question was disrespectful to begin with. Why would she entertain it? Somebody said, met his match this day. Truth is, you don't have to entertain anything he says. Real connection and love is rare. Finally, somebody who says something sensible. Whatever color it comes in, give it a shot. Now, I'm not naive, y'all. I know there are plenty of people who date outside of their race because they don't like themselves, or they're trying to lighten their race. Like, there are people who date outside of themselves for the wrong reasons. But you have to get to know people in order to determine that. You can't just assume that, right? Or you can't just put that on everybody and let it affect your one-on-one personal reactions, okay? You got to be able to understand that there's people who date for the wrong reasons and people who date for the right reasons, and give people the opportunity to show you what it is. But either way it goes, you can't control who people date. It was so ignorant. It was so ignorant. And the fact that he felt like he could say that just lets me know that we've given him too much of a pass to say whatever he needs to say. And honestly and truly, after the way his daughter went in on him about him not being an active father in terms of being present, and he done sat up here and talk about black community this, black community that, rah this, rah that. I don't want to hear nothing he got to say, because you're not walking how you're talking. And I've said this before. Most of these Hotep pro-black men are not walking how they're talking. Most of them are not focused on family. If y'all don't watch the 3Gs podcast, you should. They come on every Wednesday. But I was listening to AP. He also has his own show, AP for Life. And he was talking about a lot of the problems, that was the subject, a lot of the issues that go on in the black community. And he gave the advice, do y'all want to know how we change the black community? Everybody, every man just needs to focus on family. Focus on family. And then we'll see where the black community is at in 20 years, right? But here's the thing. People don't want to do that. Instead of telling everybody else what they should be doing, who they should be marrying, what they should be boycotting, what they should be buying at a store, what they should and should not be doing, what they should and should not be saying, everybody just needs to focus on their household. But that's the hardest thing to do, because it requires you having discipline, doing the work, and having self-reflection. Because I promise you, if we did like he said, then you would see black people in a completely different state, culturally and financially, because we're not the only ones who have problems that we have to overcome. I'm sorry that y'all hate to hear that, but it's the truth. Hey, what's up, Sheba Baby? What's up? Y'all follow my girl Sheba Baby Talks. She does social commentary, trending topics. I love her perspective. And she's a beautiful soul. I met her here in Colombia. But yeah, so it's like, if everybody just focus on them instead of doing silly stuff like Dr. Umar going on shows and trying to chastise other races of women for dating black men, that's gonna get us way further than that. I'm sorry. So it was rude, it was disrespectful, and I'm glad she checked him instead of feeling like she had to walk on eggshells so that she wouldn't look like she was racist. Okay. Okay, I had another topic to discuss. Now, if y'all have not seen tonight's conversation, that is the show. Y'all know, like, you probably seen the clips before, and I could show y'all too. So that's the show that Keita Rose was on that she just recently blasted. Basically, she was saying the dude Ace Metaphor, who puts it together, is not paying people their money, that a lot of the men who go on tour on the show and have girlfriends and give this so-called good advice, they be laying it low and spreading it wide while they are on tour. Like, she blasted them, right? So there's this dude and he has dreads. I'll show y'all him in a minute. His name is Rico Hundo. And I remember he used to go on there, and I always hated his advice, y'all, because it was so toxic. Now, I was going to say that he's not even that attractive to be given the advice that he's given, but on further review of these clips, I had to like really look at him and be objectively honest. He is very handsome. I think it's the dreads. Y'all gonna see. He got them dreads to where he keep getting the edge up, but the hairline keep going further and further back. He just needs to get it cut off. But he's actually very handsome looking. I don't know what in his life happened to make him so toxic. I don't know if he's just like that, but I never used to like his advice because he basically tries to make it seem like if a man is rich and handsome, he should be able to cheat, but women can't cheat, or he should be able to have multiple women, but women shouldn't be able to do. He got that toxic mindset, right? So he was on a show with Ra Ali, and Ra Ali called out his behavior and his friend's toxic behavior. I'm going to show, and I'm glad she did it. They were having a conversation about the Black community. Now, I tried to find the entire video, but I think they took it off the channel. But I'm going to show
you
it
have
right
such
now.
a great point.
Give me a second. I'm going to make myself small and make this big so that y'all can see. If you're just now coming in, y'all, please hit the like button. It helps people know that I'm on live. Thank you.
You have a phenomenal point, but what doesn't help is the way you guys are treating Black women. You really are disgusting.
But how are the Black women treating us, though?
Wait, hold on a second. The thing that you guys do every day that you guys are proud of is bad. You have sick. I told you guys plenty of times, I've never been through like bad relationships where men have done things to me, but honest to God, it's because I don't allow you to do it. I will eat your head off your shoulders before I let you do that to me, because I know that you will do it. You will break me down if I trust you, motherfuckers, and that's sad. And
you know what? Now that I think about it, we haven't really seen Ra Ali get dragged. Really, can y'all think of some bad press that she had in Behind a Man? Only thing I really remember her being too much in the news about was like when she hit Cardi B and put a knot on her head. I remember that. But other than that, I ain't really seen her get drugged, and she's been on TV for a minute. And I get exactly what she's saying, because it took me going through one bad relationship between the ages. Why? I'm not gonna say that because I ain't trying to put nobody in, but I was on blast, but I was young. But it took me one time getting drugged. And I ain't been drugged since. I'm not saying I haven't had situations where a dude tried me or he was at a line or it wasn't the most ideal. But when I think about getting drugged, I think you put up with a situation for years, or you put up with the same thing over and over and over, or it's just extremely toxic, like the multiple times of cheating, getting hands laid on you. No, I'm with her on that. I don't allow nobody to drag me like that. I'm sorry. Not in public, not in private. And I'm one of the people, once you do certain things, you cross certain lines, ain't no coming back from it. Even if I might be like, oh, speak to you or say hey to you, it ain't never gonna be we laying down together or we doing anything, we making plans. First of all, I'm too embarrassed to come around my friends and family with you. That's toxic AF. So many men think that way too. And I've said this, it's a lot that think this way, but I've said this before. Sheba, I don't know if you've seen other lives that I've done where there are men who are handsome and have always been handsome and have always got female attention. Men who got a little bit of height. They don't got to be the tallest, because I'm not height obsessed, but just men who have always been able to get female attention. You would be surprised. Most of them do not think that way, which leads me to believe that Rico got some type of insecurity, because you would be surprised of the men who real life that I know for sure, for facts, like these men do not cheat. I'm not saying they never cheated when they were, but like they have discipline, especially as they get older, right? It's a lot of men that don't think this way. So these men try to speak for all men. What it is they try to discourage women from going for what they want, right? A lot of these men have resentment towards men who are taller or more attractive or have charisma, because they have to work 10 times harder than them just to get female attention. So they try to make you feel like, well, these dudes, they not gonna want you. And I've seen dudes who are really attractive can get any woman, who are faithful. Matter of fact, I've said this before, a lot of the times they're the ones who get cheated on. It's not uncommon, y'all. I know people don't care for her, but I always like Ra. Yeah, like I honestly and truly, I ain't never really paid attention enough to her to have an opinion either which way. I just know I haven't really heard her name in too much foolishness. She got her butt whipped by Sky from Black Ink Crew, LOL. But Ra has been married for years. I didn't know she was married. And I didn't know that her and Sky fight. You know Sky throw it off. Is Sky a Gemini? Is she a Gemini? I don't know. You're right. I think he probably wasn't handsome his whole life. Maybe he didn't get girls when he was younger. Yeah, because like when I look at him, I feel like now he's cute. But like he might have had, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's something to where he grew into that, you know? I've been around guys who had to make a lot of money to get girls, and they made comments like the Rico guy. Yes, they be bitter. And I understand, because like imagine this. Guys, if y'all are just not coming in, please hit the like button. I kind of get where they're coming from. Now, me, I stand on business. If I know that when I look at you, if you didn't have money or any other external factors going for you, that I wouldn't be dating you, then I don't entertain you. All my men be cute. They all be fine. Fine is the standard. Okay? Fine is the standard. Now, I'm not dating fine and a bum. I'm not doing homosexuals. Great thing is there are plenty of men out here who are attractive and got their own thing going for them. Do they have to be super rich? No. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind working. You know, I'm not a soft life girly, right? But I do expect it to be treated certain ways. Don't get me wrong. But there are plenty of men out here who are handsome that don't act like this dude. But I get it, because it's like, imagine you go from not being able to get any chicks that you want and they're treating you terribly, and then all of a sudden you get money, and all of a sudden you have access to all these baddies. In your mind, you're going to be thinking, dang, these women really ain't ish. Like, they don't want me for me. So you're going to be constantly insecure. Then there's that pressure of always having to maintain the amount of money or status that you have just to keep these women, because you know that they're gonna leave. So a part of me gets it, but then another part of me doesn't feel too bad, because you gotta flip it. Well, why don't you want women who are looks compatible with you? You expect women who are out of your league in terms of looks to want you, but you don't want the girls who are looks compatible with you. So what does that make you? Yes, you got good taste, sis. Yeah, she would think my man's. well, not my man, but you know, she's seen the men that I date. Yes, I don't do anything that's not attractive, baby. I just don't. Okay. So you can't even get a conversation with me unless you fine. Okay. But I mean, that's the bare minimum. Then you have to actually be a nice person. Then you actually have to be a hardworking person, right? It's not just anything fine gets attention from me because I can tell the difference.
Raising daughters and teaching her to run from you.
No,
Crazy.
So,
because
but
of the
I say
things
this
that
though.
y'all are saying out of your mouths and the things that y'all
think
doing
about it.
to my peers, to our friends.
Wait, hold on.
Look
But most
at
of
what
us,
y'all are doing to us.
I mean, but here's the thing. She's not gonna get men like that to change their opinion or stop saying what they're saying because first of all, it gets clicks and views. So there's the money. And then it's how they genuinely feel. So yeah, it is damaging to a certain extent, especially like this all used to be barbershop talk. I've said this before. Men used to say this kind of stuff in private, and women were completely like delusional and oblivious. But now they're saying it on the internet, and it's gonna cause you to do either one or two things as a woman. Either you're gonna say, well, I'm gonna try to be just like a man and do the same things that they do, and it's not gonna work for you. Why? Because unless you're just extremely damaged, and when I say extremely damaged, like we have more of a heart, mind, and soul and body connection to who we lay down with than men. It does more damage to us. It damages men too, but it takes a longer period of time. It does more damage to us to try to move like they move. And why would we want to come down to their level? So either you're gonna do that, or you're gonna just completely exit stage left and be like, I'm not even dating, I'm not even entertaining nobody. Because why? You know, when you lay down in mud or lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. It's very, very difficult to try to navigate that middle, right? Not saying that you can't, but more times than not, people will go to the extreme of things. Exactly. Hold on. Ooh, hold on. Let me see. Exactly. She kind of wasting her time and energy on him, honestly. Yeah, like don't save them. I mean, and the only thing that can save men for like with that type of mentality that I've seen is other men checking them because they don't respect what women say, or they have to go through some type of life-changing experience. But us women trying to talk to them and plead with them and get to them to change. And like again, I can't find this whole conversation, but basically they were saying how was it Randy that was on there, and she was saying how, you know, Black men have just been through so much, and that's why our home and relationship dynamics are so different. And I'm like, girl, Black women don't went through the same stuff. It's kind of like, why do people forget that Black women grew up in the same neighborhoods as Black men most of the time? And granted, we have different social classes, so we all didn't grow up in dysfunction and poverty. But like, since people want to make it seem like we're all a part of the same dysfunction and poverty, like Black women were right there. So it's kind of like nobody makes excuses for Black women when Black women's attitudes are not the best, or we don't necessarily communicate the same. People responsibility and onus on us to get it together, which it is our responsibility. Why do we steady coddle these men? It don't matter the reason why they behave the way they behave. I used to be that type of person. It's like, we need to know the reason so we can get to the root of it. Well, we've been trying to get to the root of it. We've been having the same conversation for the past 10, 15 years now. And at this point, it's either sink or swim. It's either shit or get off the pot. Because the more we get to the root of it, the more excuses people seem to have for these men, and I'm not here for it. So forget the root. The fact of the matter is people need to get it together. And I've said this before. I was talking about, you know, people like to say there's a there's this theory of like the perfect immigrant, right? In terms of like immigrants being able to come to the United States and getting further ahead than Black people. And let me tell you the reason why. I'm going to use Mexicans, for example. Mexicans in Dallas, because I grew up around them, so I can speak to that. I can't really speak too much to any other group. Now, did they have to endure slavery? No, right? But in terms of entering America, if you come into the United States as an illegal immigrant, which I know a lot of them are there illegally, some of them have always been in America because their family was in Texas before America was even a country, right? But I'm talking about the ones who come illegally, work hard, open their own businesses, eventually get their papers, and then their family is good for, it just keeps elevating for the next 2 or 3 generations. They don't come over to the United States with the mentality of, I'm already coming here broke, poor, with nothing, and not even able to ask for minimum wage. No, they don't make those kind of excuses. They work with what they got. Whatever they got to do to get over here, they get over here. Then when they come here, if they got to do construction for $5 an hour, that's what they do. If they got to put their money with other family members and move in with other family members, that's what they do. They don't sit up and say, y'all make excuses for me being broke or not being able to do because I came over here illegally. If they had that mindset, it would never work out for them. Then all they know is press the gas and go. So they come and they start lower than us in terms of where they're at economically, and they surpass us. So I don't be wanting to hear none of that, honestly and truly. Yes, it's all barbershop talk. You are right about that. Yeah. And it's traumatizing. I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah. It's sink or swim, really. Everybody's an adult now. They can figure it out for themselves. Yeah. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. People need to hear this. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares about what you've been through. Again, I was just saying this earlier, how I had to end a friendship with somebody because they were just like too negative, right? You're too negative. On top of that, you too racist. You making your slick comments about biracial people. Girl, I ain't do it. Get it together. You making you're being viscerally racist towards white people. Like I don't have a whole white parent. Like we don't have to be around white people over here. So and then on top of that, every time I'm around you and we're out, that energy is coming out, right? And she felt like, oh well, if you were really trying to build a friendship, you would have talked to me to get to know my experience. Ma'am, I'm 31 years old. You almost 40. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't care about what people have gone through. And I'm the type of friend, if you call me, I don't care what time. If you call me, I'm coming. If you call me and you need some bread, I'm sending the bread. It's not that. It's that I don't have time. You can't deal with your emotions and everything is an excuse for why you feel the way that you feel versus I need to get this shit together because it's a hindrance and it's coming off real bad and negative. I don't care to hear that because at this point, it's just excuse making. I don't want to hear that. That's a fact. They come to the U.S. and they come through the same ghettos. And within one generation, they go from poor to middle class. Yes. And went through the most. Done experienced everything from the lights being out, roaches in the house, going hungry, all kind of stuff, right? You listen to these people tell their stories from where they started to where they come. It's inspirational. And people get upset with folks like me who say that's the type of mentality we need to have. They want to just constantly make excuses. I feel like we can do better. You ought to be mad at the people who don't believe in you, who keep making excuses for you. Be mad at them because they feel like you ain't shit and they never gonna be shit because of where you started. Be mad at them. Don't be mad at somebody who's telling you that you can do. I don't blame you, girl. After turning 30, my cutoff game is strong as fuck. I don't have the time. Yeah, I don't got the time for that. And again, like when I tell you I have women who I've been friends with for years, but like the mentality is always like my good friends, we have a growth mindset. It's not like we haven't had a falling out, not even a falling, because we ain't never fell out, to be honest. Differences of opinion, or it's not like they ain't never had to call me and say, hey, I didn't like that you did XYZ. Or it ain't like I ain't had to call them and be like, oh, I didn't like that you did XYZ. But like, I know these women at their core are good people and don't have hate in their heart for anybody and don't operate in jealousy. So like, and they operate with the growth mindset. So we can work through disagreements, misunderstandings, differences of opinion. But like, I cannot deal with all of that. I can't deal with that, like want to stay in trauma mindset. I can't. Okay, so I'm actually gonna pull, hold on, give me a second. I want to pull this conversation up that Rico had about tonight's conversation and like the falling out and behind it. Rico and Randy. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up. So I'm gonna pull up how he reacted to what Keita. A minute.
That you tend to gain when you actually can hopefully become successful from being.
I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this is from the channel 8 at the table. And I'll put it in the description box.
Hey, my English not so good.
Do you mean my English isn't very good?
Yes, I'm sorry.
How often do you practice speaking?
This is the creator of the pod. This is Randy Rosario, Mike the Poet, Trip Fontaine, Fine Ass Keita Rose, and Mojo Jojo. A lot of you guys are like, well, I don't care about this bitch or that bitch. Where's my favorite? Oh, shit, this she go to your favorite. She be dropping them gems. This is Kitty Rose. She got Randy out quick, fast. She said, I want your spot. How can I manipulate everyone to get it?
Okay, guys, this dude in the blue hoodie, that's Rico. That's Rico Hundo. He not bad looking. He actually cute. Would he be like, if I was out and I seen him, would he be like somebody that I wouldn't necessarily talk to, like my type? No, but like I'm sure I got plenty of homegirls that would, if he had some act right, that would talk to him. He's cute, like he's handsome, you know. I'm not gonna take that from him. And when he talks, he's one of those, let me tell y'all, he's one of those that if I was around him long enough and he was mature talking and he was kind, I would date him. I'll say that. But just upon first glance, I kind of have to look at him a little longer to be like, oh, okay, to see it, you know? Yes, girl. So you know exactly who I'm talking about, girl. I think he's trying to get a little bit more mature, but he be toxic. He be young-minded. And I don't know how old he is, because some of the stuff, we got to remember, a lot of these dudes who are getting on these podcasts and getting famous, internet famous, they're starting at 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we got to kind of give them a pass. For example, Austin Holloman. Do y'all remember the passport bro who went viral? I actually follow him. I love his channel. But at one point, all the ladies were getting on him, right? But I'm starting to see as he's getting older, I think Austin is 25 now. His content is becoming more mature, and the way that he views women is becoming more mature. So we also have to understand it. Now, I don't give any passes to these men who are in their 30s talking like you 21, 22, 23. Yes, Austin got kicked out of Brazil, but you know what? He does really good content. If you act, and his content is shifting away from trying to cater to passport bros who just want to go places and smash, to trying to cater to men who actually want to like settle in communities and invest. But girl, he be getting on his audience. Like he be talking about them, how they don't get no women because they don't bathe correctly. They don't work out. Their game is weak. Like he be actually getting on them for like their victim mentality. So I can start to see that he's actually saying, no, you ninjas are really the problem. I don't know why I thought Austin was older. Girl, he was young when that happened. I think he might have been 21 or 22 when he got put out of Brazil. He went back since then. Last year he went back. That makes so much sense why he was acting crazy like that. Yes, and then I think Austin has a little bit of like, I think he got a little bit of autism. That's one person who I will say he seems like he has high functioning autism. Like sometimes he doesn't pick up on people's social cues, especially when you see him interact with women. I will say this, Austin, if you ever see this, Austin, you getting thick now. He been in the gym, y'all. Austin, the more sense he get and the more he be in the gym, the more handsome he getting. But you can tell he got kind of high functioning autism. But it's really funny because how it translates to when he's talking to his subscribers is he don't give a damn. He be over there talking to them men crazy, y'all. He don't give a damn. But yeah, Austin, you getting thick now. I done seen them thighs, baby. The gym doing something for you. I ain't gonna hold you now. Okay, LOL, I think you were probably right about that. Yes, but I like his channel. I'm sorry, that's my favorite. He don't want to be called a passport bro. That's my favorite passport bro. Some of the passport bros be talking with sense.
I'm going to detail that though in the following episodes. It's going to be like 500 episodes. Bonus feature. This guy says he used to be with Kitty, but that can't be true because it would have been around the time she was married and she can't stand side bitches and she can't stand cheating women. The drama, the tea. Hope we all heal.
And that's his fault. It's Rome's fault.
What I did.
It's all Rome's fault. And everybody who thinks like it. I ain't knocking your hustle. See, this is the thing that people need to understand about life.
Let him connect. Let him connect.
Okay.
Your fucking hustle will not last long. And not only does it not last long, it's going to blow up in your fucking face and destroy everything that you have. Keita, who's a good friend of mine, I've known Keita for about 5 years now. One thing I always liked about Keita, even when we disagreed, is Keita is real life Keita. That's her on camera. That's her off camera.
Yeah, I can tell Keita is pretty authentic. Now, people say that she real goofy. Or sometimes she does too much, but I've never seen her switch up and act a different way. One thing I will say is I don't know if y'all saw that episode that tonight's conversation did. It was a round table. I'm trying to remember if Rico was on that episode. I know Trip was on there. I can't remember if Rico was on there. Six the Goddess came on there. My camera's about to go out, y'all. Six the Goddess came on there and she was looking good. Now, a lot of women don't like Six because sometimes Six can go out of her way to put down fat women or bigger women and make it seem like men don't want them. It's not the stuff that she said, because her thing is there's no man that really wants to be with a fat woman. They all use big women for money. That's her thing. And it's not that there's not truth to it, but there are some men who genuinely just like big women that have money. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, being fine, having a booty, having a pretty face, that's not going to get you chose or treated. You know, that can help get you in the door, but that doesn't guarantee a man is going to treat you right. Matter of fact, a lot of those times, those women get treated worse. So sometimes she can be very mean in the way that she talks about bigger women. And she'll call them B words and all. She'll call women B's and all kind of stuff. Like, who genuinely just called in to disagree. She'll go to the left sometimes. So she came on tonight's conversation and Keita and Randy didn't like her already because they heard what she said about big women. So they did gang up on her, and I didn't like that because she did keep it respectful. You cannot like what a woman has to say, but still be respectful in the way that you disagree with her, especially if she didn't personally come at you. But it's like they went out of their way to call her out of her name and be rude when she was trying to keep it polite. And I didn't like that. I felt like, you know, if y'all go find it and watch the interaction, there was definitely some jealousy coming from the both of them. When you really watch it, they didn't have to come at her that way. They could have respectfully disagreed with sis. But other than that, I like Keita. 6 is beautiful, but she acts like a pick-me. I heard she got a better with her holding men accountable. Okay, so like if you go back and watch, her content is mixed. It's a mixed bag. So it's like some videos she's going in on men, some videos she's going in on the women. Here's the thing. Sometimes I feel like she says stuff that she doesn't necessarily believe in. For example, I heard 6 say that women shouldn't care about men's looks as long as they're masculine and they can provide. But if you look at the men, all the men that 6 has dated previously or posted on her social media, they're all fine. They're all fine. So how are you gonna tell women that caring about men's looks is masculine? Because that's exactly what she says, and you don't date nothing but fine. Make it make sense. Does she think she's the only woman who deserves to be with an attractive man because she's freakishly gorgeous? Because she's fine. She's very pretty. So it's kind of like, don't say stuff that you don't believe in, or don't act like women don't have eyes and you don't have eyes. Like, sis, you ain't dating nothing but men that look like they're in the gym and are fine in the face and body.
These other people who do all this for a little bit of change, what ends up happening is I said
Are
this.
you saying the rest of them are not real like her? I don't know.
Majority.
Okay.
But, and I don't know I know most of them, but I don't know them enough where I've toured with Keita, I've toured with Richie Fontaine, I've toured with Ace Metaphor, I've toured with Just Mike, I've toured with Trip, I've toured with all these people in numerous shows, maybe like 5 or 6 or 7 shows that I toured with them. But the problem is, stop fucking faking for Instagram. And I tell you, a lot of these people never had popularity in their life, and that's why they're okay with doing whatever they can do. And they've never had money in their life, which is why they're okay with faking the funk so they can make some fucking money. But the problem is, and I can only speak for my own life, I have been in the industry since I was 21 years old for a decade. There's been times I was very high financially, and there's been times I've been very low.
Okay, so he's 31. It's all starting to make sense now. He's been talking about relationships from a very young age. So a lot of his perspectives are going to be immature. Hi, White Town's King. What's up? 6 says she picks who picks her. If handsome are coming her way, it's not her fault. Okay, I understand that perspective, Young Town's King. But when you look like 6, it's not just handsome that's coming your way. Ugly coming your way too. All men are coming your way. You get what I'm trying to say? When you are a woman that looks like that, every man that look any type of way at all financial statuses is coming at you. Okay, so I want to be very clear. She's beautiful. So this is no hate. When you are that fine, you attract everything. So all that I pick who picks me, well, she's not picking, I promise you, she's not picking the man who is unattractive with money who picks her. And I'm sure they are. I'm sure men who are fat, unattractive, and sloppy with money are picking her. But because she looks the way she looks, she can be patient and pick and choose. So she can let them go on and wait until some she wants comes her way and accepts that. That's what I'm saying here.
But I never not been myself, not for no money, which is the only reason why I'm still here 10 years later. The only reason why I can say that I comfortably have not had a job for about 7 years and been making money off of being a entertainment or in the industry entity. All these other people, they get on this internet and they lie. And again, my main thing is, your lie is cool when it only destroys you. But these people build families. These people have kids. These people build relationships. And the next thing you know, everybody gets to see who you are. And the problem is when they all see who.
I'm glad he brought that up, because a lot of these men who are coming on here giving relationship and dating advice, they actually do have families and girlfriends that they hide. And then they're doing like what Keita said she saw when they were on the road in tonight's conversation, and busting down every single woman they want to, pretending that they're single. And they got kids and families. Meanwhile, they're coming on the internet giving toxic relationship advice or discouraging men from getting married. Meanwhile, you married and got a whole family at home that you hiding. Think Derek Jackson. All right, y'all, please, if you're just now coming in, hit the like button.
Who you are or who you were, either or, I'm not sure. Some people may say that they've grown, but you destroy that relationship. You know, when you're on Instagram, and Rome mentioned it before, you are a hero. And it doesn't necessarily matter who it is. We had Cardi B complaining for years about them telling her that she's a poor representation for the kids. You cannot gain, and I highly advise, don't gain attention and gain a fan base if you can't be that person's hero. Now, when these people are looking up to you, it's a lot of.
But okay, but my question to him is, does he think him sleeping with multiple women or cheating, is that something that's worth admiration? Like, I'm here for what the brother is saying. Maybe he's maturing. Maybe he's trying to turn over a new leaf. And like, I'll see, like, going forward, if that's what he's on, then I support it. But it's like, you can't say this, but also had a mentality that men need to be able to cheat and sleep with multiple women. Because then you're not giving a young man the real about that, about the multiple baby mamas, about the damage that comes with these children from having these split homes, about all the diseases that come with that.
Pressure. And a lot of people can't walk with that pressure, which is why a lot of people don't want it. But in this case, what happens is when all of these people now look at you as the person to guide them, and then the truth comes out, you're not only letting you down, but you're letting thousands of people down, especially the women. Like, the women were the biggest ones that ate up majority of the bullshit. And I used to be on there saying, yo, y'all listen to this. He's doing a disservice to you all. Because you know why? It's not reality. It's not the real spill. So,
okay, so I kind of get what he's saying. So he's saying, I'm actually keeping it real and saying how men feel. And these men are pandering to you and telling you what you want to hear. And I feel like there's a way, there's a middle ground here, right? There's a middle ground. Because, like, yes, a lot of these men, like Ace Metaphor, he was clearly pandering and didn't believe in the stuff that he was saying. Right? I could tell that just off the energy. I never trusted the man. And then when he went on Highly Initiated and Tony Gaskins checked him, I was here for it, right? I think like there's a truth. Like I think women should listen to men like Rico who say what they say and understand that the vast majority of men, and I wouldn't even just say men, people, they're walking around here in the spiritual basement. So a lot of people are not. Like, that's why I appreciate Prince Stella, because she breaks it down so well. A lot of people are not capable of doing what you're looking for. A lot of the times our expectations are unrealistic. Even if you have a good person, a lot of the times our expectations are unrealistic in terms of expecting somebody to be our end all and be all, expecting men to behave the way women do, right? So I get that part. But also, if you've ever talked to and been around disciplined men who are men's men, who are not trying to don't even care about pandering to women. Matter of fact, they already got a woman that they want. Those same type of men check men for toxic behaviors. Those same type of men will be like, nah, you don't need to be doing X, Y, Z. So it's kind of like when a man actually, there are men out here who are actually doing the work and rising above. And I don't think those men get hurt enough. Now, are they fewer? Yes. But the fact of the matter is, most people aren't willing to do the work and have the discipline. Even these people who claim they going to therapy and doing all that, most of the time you talk to them, they the most unhealed ones. Yet they don't bother to give that disclaimer. Yeah.
So I say that to say, going forward, 2025, let's make a conscious effort of being yourself. Let's make a conscious effort of you trying to monetize on who you are and not what is the wave. Because when you can monetize off who you are, what you do, or how you think, then you can never lie to nobody. You can never destroy the household that you built from the success that you tend to gain when you actually can hopefully become successful from being who you are. And
you know what? I agree with him on that. And here's the thing. As somebody who started off on bullshit, I'm talking about him now. I'm talking about Rico. He has, like, if he decides he wants to settle down with a woman and do the right thing, people are going to give him more grace because he started young and then they're going to see the growth versus starting off pretending like you're trying to do the right thing, but you out here being buck wild. Instead of pretending like you just have all this love and respect and admiration for women, but behind the scenes and behind closed doors, you a dog. Like, he came out being who he was. So if later on he decides he wants to do better, people will be able to see the growth and know it's not fake. Versus somebody like Ace Metaphor, you came out acting like you a good man, but you've been a dog the whole time. People don't have grace for that.
And I think this is a great display of what's happening when you are not. Actually, we've been fucking seeing it. Y'all hate Fresh and Fit, right?
I'm a disagree with you on that. Don't believe those men either. All of us have a weakness for women and sex. The most high tests and punishes us for our urges. I'm gonna disagree with you on that, White Town's King. I'm not gonna disagree that all men have an urge for sex and women. So I'll give you that. I'm gonna disagree that all men are out here giving into that urges, and I'm gonna disagree that all men never develop the discipline, right? And that's why I've said before on my channel, if you want to know whether or not a man is going to cheat on you, you got to look at the discipline he has in every other area of his life. A man who is highly disciplined in the way he speaks, the way his work ethic, and the way he treats people, the way he treats his body, all of that type of man is less likely to cheat because he already has to overcome so many other weaknesses that have to do with the body and feelings on a day-to-day. A man that lacks discipline in any area of his life, you can almost guarantee he's going to cheat on you. But the thing is, men who are highly disciplined are very few and far in between. So I'll give you that, White Town's King. But I don't want to put the message out there to women that it just doesn't exist at all. You just have to know what to look for. And then that type of man don't just accept anything. He don't want to be around a woman that's not disciplined.
Okay, cool. It's the same ones that y'all hate about the red pills. The blue pill niggas doing the same shit. Okay, we just had two of them, and you know what they did? They made millions of dollars. This is not a joke. Not the other guy. He only had 6,000, but this person made millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. And he's I don't know how much he's still making, but I can tell you he was making millions of dollars all last year too.
I just had a quick question for Rico. Like, why I actually tend to agree with the effectiveness of being like genuinely you.
Authentic.
Oh,
thing.
well, I also have to consider the fact that these people are running businesses and their businesses being on an entertainment site, like Rome has said. And there's well, probably one key point to business. What drives business?
So people ask me all the time.
What do you need to make the money in business? All right. So what you need to have
Customers.
What do customers? What does that create?
Revenue.
All right, teacher, can you tell us the answer?
I mean, y'all, it's like the basic, it's like the most fundamental thing about business. Supply.
Supply and demand.
Is simply business is based on supply and demand, whether it's a widget, a service, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. Everything is supply and demand. And like Rico said, these people are running businesses and in many cases not being authentic about their product, but they supplying so long as there's a demand. So I
mean, there's some truth to what she's saying. Like, honestly and truly, my channel probably would have been took off by now if I was on here either dogging men out all the way or being the ultimate pick me, because people like extremes, people like toxicity. So when you're a person who is being authentic, just know that the way up, the climb there is gonna be longer, but you'll get there, right? It's just kind of like, how much patience do you have? Because there are people who are on YouTube and in these spaces who are genuinely being authentic, who have a huge following. Real Talk with Yanni comes to mind because when you listen to her, she's very fair. Okay, she compared to Mo, she's very fair. Yeah, I will say she tends to cater more towards women, but you can tell she believes what she says. And she's been able to maintain and grow her following, right? But like, she's been on the internet for years. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be willing to be you, but also go slow. I'll even say with me, I'll be honest, y'all, I'd rather be on here talking about politics. But here's the thing. I know people want to hear about relationships. So if people want to hear about relationships, then I'm going to talk about relationships. But I'm still going to tell you how I genuinely feel. I'm not going to get on here and try to lie. If people want to hear social commentary, I'm going to get on here and talk about social commentary, right? I don't really want to talk about none of that, to be honest, but that's what people want to hear. So I'm going to give you what you demand, but I'm also going to be authentic about it. So there's a middle to walk with it, you know?
Understand what Rome was saying about, hey, that's they hustle, that's what they doing. You know, they may not be here for a long time, but they here for a good time.
And I like that she said that, because when you're being inauthentic, the quicker your way up, the quicker your way down. Easy come, easy go. Right? So you might make the most money you've made in life, or you might for a year or two be sitting on millions of dollars. But like, is that gonna have longevity if you're being inauthentic and then you get exposed? That fall is gonna be hard. I don't know anybody who right now, I mean, unless you just slow, who would be buying tickets to a Derek Jackson show. Imagine if he would have been the type of man who had been authentic, who hadn't been in any scandals with his wife. He could still be doing lots of speaking engagements and making more money. I'm sure he's still making some money now because, you know, you got that. If he caters to that whole Christian sector of the relationship space, who feels like you should just forgive people even if they have shown you absolutely no evidence of change, and there are women who will buy into that, but he's never going to make the amount of money that he could have been making had he, you know, just actually been about what he said he was about. He'll never make Tony Gaskins money and be able to continue to make it for a long time. People can say what they want to say about Tony Gaskins, but he's been in this space for years and not one scandal has come out on him. Now, if later on that happens, I'll have to eat crow. But for as long as he's been doing this, and ain't nobody said nothing about him, and as many female clients as he's had, and ain't nobody put him on blast, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna err on the side of he's standing on business.
And that's fair.
Another one that seemed like they standing on what they say is RC Blake's.
You not thinking 10 steps ahead to sort of be dynamic and be able to change with the times and be able to stay on top of demanding a supply, then that's fair. When you burn out, and that's the end of it. I guess. I thought burning stars last for a long time though.
All I'm gonna say is using that method, be prepared to lose because you will. That's all I will say. I don't know. You could last 1 year, you could last 5 years. You will lose. And the only people that win in this world, and this is from now, even from all the way back, is the ones who are real. Because those are the only ones who, when their card gets pulled, they're still going to check out. And when everybody...
You know what? I'm going to take that advice from him. I'm going to receive that. Because again, he's been doing this for a long time. So he can speak on maintaining longevity in this game.
Everybody else's card gets pulled, they diminish and they fall and they crumble. That's why there's so many people who had temporary success. If you're cool with having temporary success, I feel bad for you, because I'm going to tell you the worst thing in life is to live a luxurious life and lose it all and have to go back to living to what you really were. And if that's what you want, just be prepared for it. That's all.
Yeah, that's why the money is important. So I don't want to get on here and lie and make it seem like making a living isn't important, because it absolutely is, right? But at the same time, I think you gotta adjust your values and what you want out of life. For example, I feel like I'm a person, I'ma always live humbly. Like, I'm not ever gonna have, I don't care how much money I make, I'm never gonna make enough to where I'm never gonna live so extravagantly to where I feel like I have to start doing fuck shit just to maintain my standard of living. As long as I can travel when I want to, and I have enough space in my house for what my family needs, not all the materialism that we can fill it up with just to fill empty space. No, for the things that we need and for us to be able to go about our day to day, as long as I have that, I'm cool. I am cool. Whatever money I make on top of that, that's extra. Yeah, I want to make more money. Yeah, because I want to be able to do more things. I want to be able to bless people, but I don't want to have to maintain a standard of living just so I can be flashy towards people who really don't care about me. I want to be able to do the things that genuinely and authentically feed my soul.
That's all I'll say.
It worked for Bernie Madoff. Shit, he went to jail and he was dead in about 2 or 3 years. So it worked for him, and it worked for a lot of people doing the same kind of thing. So I don't know.
So I'm kind of in the middle on this, only because I see your point, which is kind of my point too, and I see Rico's point, which is kind of my point too. So my thing with this is, are we expecting people to not have skeletons in their closet? Because this whole authentic thing, just hear me out. This whole authentic thing, right? I get it, and we're showing our highlights, but we all know that we're showing our highlights, okay? And I get it that, from what I'm gathering, she told a large number of women to do A while doing B. Is that where we're at with this?
Not her. Not the one that was talking. Like,
There's
Yeah.
Kitty Rose. Okay. So there's a difference between having skeletons in your closet or being a certain way in the past, but you don't do that anymore, to you're telling people to do A, but right now in the present, you're doing B. So I'm going to take this back to Ace metaphor with tonight's conversation. You're giving all of this advice to women making it seem like you trying to help them, but you're really like right now in the present a dog, or you're the worst kind of man. So there's a difference between that and, okay, I used to be a cheater in the past. Tony Gaskins talks about how he used to dog women all the time before he got married, and how even at the beginning of their relationship, it was rocky. He talks about it all the time. He makes it a point to tell women, the reason why I can give you this game is because I was doing it. I done did everything. He always got a story about some type of crazy situation he had a woman in, or how he was used to be controlling, how he used to be, how he used to do. He's always telling you. And that's something that Derek Jackson never did. When you go back and listen to his old content, it was always from a space of like, I'm a good man, and I'm telling you to wait for a good man, and these men don't deserve you and know your value. It was never from a space of, I can tell you about these men because I am that. You know, I say this all the time. If Derek Jackson would have started off with, I'm gonna give you ladies the game because I'm the man you want to avoid, he would still be making money to this day. Women would still be, he would still be just as popular as he used to be. There was a lane for him, but he decided that he wanted to be fake and phony. He didn't think people were going to want to hear what he had to say if he was just himself, which who better to listen to about narcissism than an actual narcissist? There's a dude on here called Mental Illness. He is a self-professed narcissist. He tells women all the time, people in general, I am a narcissist. I've been in therapy. I will never stop being a narcissist. And his whole business model is giving people the game about narcissism. And he's making money in these YouTube streets. So there was a lane for him if he would have chose to keep it real.
Other person, or
No, so she, just so you have clarity.
yeah, that's what I need.
The people that she said on this video, I'll give you an example. The girl Kitty, she says that she hates and despises cheating wives, but there's proof that we all know that she's cheating on her husband. So you sit here and you advocate.
Notice he said cheating on her husband. She's cheating on her husband, as in she's doing it right now. So this is not a situation where she cheated before and now she's changed her ways and now she can come out and speak against it. Ma'am, you're currently doing it.
For something because it brings you dollars, but yet you don't practice what you preach.
Okay.
This is all alleged. Let me say that.
So I can understand different business, but this is a different type of business, right? In which your success goes based off what you say, but then it has to be followed up with how you are. And so what happens is the people that bite the bait, they get led astray and they suffer with that person. So that's one. The dude that we're speaking of is, yes,
Mojo Jojo.
Sheba, you recently did a video on this. I don't know if you're still on here, but I remember you kind of talking about the situation with the sovereign woman and how people are upset with her because she has a man that she deals with on the weekends, but she still has her own life. So people were going off on her. And like, I agree with what you said, to where people shouldn't put people on a pedestal, but like most people honestly and truly don't have their own identity. So when you're coming into this as a content creator, you just gotta know that people putting you on a pedestal is what comes with it. And one thing I will say, I've watched her content, but she did a couple things to kind of turn me off. But one thing I will say is a reason why she's kind of getting the negativity that she's getting is because she said several times, like, she's actively encouraged women not to deal with men. She said so much stuff to where somebody who faithfully watches her probably has just completely checked out of the dating game. There have probably been many of women who completely checked out of the dating game because of her content, and now they feel betrayed because it's like, sis, we was all supposed to be in this together, you know? So you got to understand, that's why you got to be careful about the way that you say things, right? You got to be careful.
Jojo, he does the same thing.
Okay.
He doesn't practice what he preaches. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of internal issues. You know what I'm saying? I'd been new from the very beginning.
So why you ain't put your people on when you knew
I
about
told him he was gonna fail.
No, them. Like, yo, you said.
I told them all. What you talking about?
Oh.
Nobody listened to me because everything I say is 5 years ahead. So when it happens, you don't.
Now, Keita did say that behind the scenes, Rico checked him, that he checked Ace Metaphor.
Like, you winning right now, so you think it's good. And I told him, like, yo, you keep going down this route, you're gonna lose everybody. Not only gonna lose everybody, you're gonna lose everything. And I told everybody the same exact thing. Y'all can't be the way that y'all want highlight clips. You just need to be you and hope that that version of you is the highlight. And if it's not, in due time, it will be whenever your time is, right? So I did tell him this whole thing. This has been since 2020. You know what I'm saying? But
facts. I'm gonna stop it right there. I'll put the link in the description box when I, start editing this video up. But yeah, I mean, he's absolutely right. And I've been around people like that who want to take the elevator. They got everything going right now, but they lost everything. And that's what we don't see. There are people right now who have been winning. We think they've been winning for years in terms of the material, but y'all don't see the behind the scenes. Y'all don't see that they don't get along with nobody from their family. Y'all don't see that they pushed away everybody that ever genuinely cared about them. So now all they got is fake people around them that use them for their money. Y'all don't see that. I've been around people like that. So, I saw a quote that said, once you understand that God's time is different than your time, you wait differently. And that's so true. You got to understand your time is coming. Things don't always happen when you want them to happen because you're not ready yet. If my YouTube channel would have popped 4 or 5 years ago, I probably would have effed off so much money. Probably would have got myself into a bad situation. If you would have gave me $1 million when I was 18 years old, and Lord knows I wanted $1 million at that age, I would probably be looking crazy out here in these streets. Because I remember at that age, I wanted a big old BBL, like something crazy, like what Nicki Minaj had. I wanted a nose job. Y'all, any type of plastic surgery I wanted all of that at 18. It took me getting older and matured and accepting certain things to where, like, no, I would never be out here looking crazy, right? But if you would have gave me money at that time, I just did not have the maturity to do right with it. So God knows when you're ready to be a good steward over what he has in store for you. And he's always on time. So you got to believe that. You got to trust that. With that said, guys, it's been real. I appreciate y'all for coming. Y'all hit the like button on your way out. If you need any one-on-one coaching, or if you want to do a consultation for moving out the country or traveling, hit me up at thepassportsis@gmail.com. My email and all my socials are in the description box. Please share this video if you care. My website will be up and running to book one-on-one consultations in 2 weeks, y'all. So y'all be on the lookout for that. With that said, it's been real. It's been another good lunch hour. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's day. Goodbye.